Hey, what's up, everybody? It's UberTEX here, coming from the capital of the Lone Star State, and I just wanted to offer y'all a few tips today um, about airport drives. So, there's a lot of debate on YouTube, on different videos, forums, and stuff like that, whether airport rides are worth it. Is it worth sitting in the lot, waiting in the queue, to get possibly a really long ride with a surge, Is it worth it? So I've been driving Uber for a couple months now, and based on my experience, it is definitely not worth it. I would strongly advise people to not do Uber airport rides. At least do not go to the airport specifically to get in the queue and wait in line. I've seen it where there's surges all over downtown here in Austin, all over the place, and I look at the queue for the airport rides. There's maybe a pretty good surge, but there's like 100 cars in there, and the rest of the city is surging maybe, let's say, at like $4, and the airport has a $9 surge, which is a really good surge. But you're gonna have to wait in the airport lot for at least 30 minutes. If you had just gotten two rides in that 30-minute period with the $4 surge, you would have had more money than one airport ride. That's assuming it even takes 30 minutes. It might even take longer. You'd never know. That's one thing about airport rides. They're really inconsistent, You could go there and wait an hour. I've waited when I first started driving. I went to the airport during the day, and that was a huge mistake because one, it rarely surges during the day at the airport, and it takes forever. I waited 45 minutes and I moved up about 20 positions in line. I still had about 30 cars more in front of me. So it was not worth it. I just left. I just went back to downtown, started doing rides, and I started making money. I essentially wasted about 45 minutes and a gallon of gas just to get there to the airport and back. So I would not recommend going to the airport at all. The only strategy I would recommend regarding the airport is if you're close by to the airport. This is something that not everyone realizes. Not everyone knows about the airport surges and how Uber works, especially if you're a new driver. If you're nearby and there's a good surge at the airport, I would recommend just taking a little detour and driving to the airport, getting in the lot real quick for Uber. This doesn't work for Lyft, but it does work for Uber surges. If you get in the lot, you'll pick up the surge. So let's say there's like an $8 surge. Drive down to the airport as fast as you can, get in the lot, you get the $8 surge, then you leave and do a ride somewhere else, and that ride's going to have an $8 surge attached to it that Uber pays you. So, just a side tip for new drivers, you might not realize if you're in a surge area, you're going to pick up that surge, and even if the surge area goes away or you move outside of that area, you're still going to have that surge attached to your next ride. So it's, if you're close to the airport, maybe you live nearby, or one of your rides takes you there and there's a good surge, I would recommend driving to the lot, picking up that surge, and then just dipping out and doing another ride. That would be my recommendation. What's y'all's experience been? I've been driving for a couple months, and I started doing airport rides at the very beginning. That was the only thing I did. As soon as I stopped doing airport rides and just did rides around the center of town and South Austin, North Austin, my fares were lower. They were lower priced, but I was getting way more fares and making a lot more money. So that's been my experience. I just wanted to share that with y'all. I think maybe there's different cities that if you live nearby the airport, it might be better to, hop in the airport line at the very beginning and then catch a ride into town, so you can, not pay, get some tax write-offs and get some gas money because you're on the app while you're driving. That's a good strategy. So, yeah, but in my experience, I would not recommend driving to the airport and waiting in line. Even if it's like, I know a ton of flights coming at midnight. That would be probably the only time, I would maybe test that a little bit, is like Sunday nights. I know there's a ton of flights that come in at midnight in Austin for whatever reason. Sometimes if it's slow, there's not a lot of people doing rides on Sunday at midnight around downtown. So maybe going to the airport at that time. But in general, I would say about 95% of the time, I would not recommend going to the airport. But that's been my experience. Maybe it's not the same for everybody else. So, yeah, what do y'all think? What's y'all's experience been, and how do y'all how's y'all's experience been with the airport ride? So, yeah, all right, signing off.